It is day 20 on the Camino Frances, breaking it down with the help of a Google Earth Pro supplemental material to the vlog series that I shot 3 years ago. Today we're doing 24.5 kilometers, a stage and a half, just like I did yesterday, but yesterday I walked 43 kilometers, the longest day on any of my Caminos that completely left me drained when I got to the Albergue in Reliegos. I said goodbye to the pilgrims that I was walking with. They're now a full day behind me. And I got to León. I wanted to take a rest day, but when I got there was just so many people, so many tourists on the street that it overwhelmed my senses, and I just wanted to head back out into the countryside. But before we go into today's stage, let's go over the Camino de Santiago as a whole. Why? So that by the time you guys get there, you know it like the back of your hands. I'm sure you know it by now. The Camino de Santiago, the Camino Frances, stretches about 800 kilometers from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France all the way to Santiago de Compostela, and the lucky ones go an extra 100 kilometers to Fisterra or Mansilla or both. That is the end of the world. That's where all my Caminos end. Here are the major cities that you're going to come across, starting with Pamplona, followed by Logroño, Burgos. Today we reach León, then we have Ponferrada, and finally Sarria. Sarria to Santiago is the last 100 kilometers. If you want a Compostela, then this is the minimum that you have to do. In my opinion, the last 100 kilometers do not compare to the previous 700 kilometers on the Camino Frances. Now, if you don't have the time to do the entire Camino in one go, as many people do, you can break it down into stages. You can start in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Logroño. It took me 7 days, 160 kilometers. The next stage would be Logroño to Burgos. 5 days, easy, 122 kilometers. And then you enter La Meseta. La Meseta is like from Burgos to Astorga. Astorga is when the terrain is going to change. I'm going to enter the mountains. But from Burgos to León, you have 178 kilometers. You can do it in 7 days. I did it in 6 because the two stages and a half that I had to do. Then from León to the border with Galicia in Ocebreiro, that's 156 kilometers or 6 days. And then from there all the way to Santiago, 8 days. I did it in 6 because I met a couple of Spaniards and they were trying to get to Santiago to take a flight back home, and that's 160 kilometers. Now, as you make your way westbound in northern Spain, you're going to go through different autonomous regions and provinces, and we start with Navarra, followed by the wine region of La Rioja, and then we enter Castilla y León. Within Castilla y León, we go through Burgos, followed by Palencia, and then finally we enter León, where we are right now. Today we reach the capital. And then after Castilla y León is Galicia, and within Galicia, we're going to go through Lugo and then A Coruña. Here is today's stage, 24.3 kilometers. From Reliegos to León, we have a few towns along the way where we can stop and have something to eat and resupply. Myself, I didn't have breakfast in Reliegos because I left even before the sunrise. I did have breakfast in the next town in Manzanillas de las Mulas. We have a small hill up ahead, nothing too big. We're gaining about 100 meters or so. And then it's just a nice descent into León. The Calzada Romana that I was so desperately trying to avoid yesterday rejoins the Camino here in Reliegos, but you can also take another variant to Manzanilla de las Mulas. And also you have La Ruta Vanidiense, that's 150 kilometers that ends here in Manzanilla de las Mulas. The albergue that I was staying in, even though it was private, it only had one bathroom, and I did not want to do a major line, so I left at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I made my way through the town of Reliegos before the sun even came out. Here you have a few albergues where you can actually stay. It was so early that the bars were closed, so I made my way to the next town to have breakfast there. I started vlogging just on the outskirts of town here by this rest area. It was 6:24 in the morning. I remember seeing like a cat in the middle of the road. Very little traffic. I mean, it was so early in the morning. And here you follow the treadmill. For the last time, you're going to be following the road on the shoulder on the dedicated path for the pilgrims. And I got to see the sunrise at 7:15 in the morning when I made it here to this Cruzeiro. Here I tried my luck once again at the rock stacking by the rest area before going over another major road and entering Manzanilla de las Mulas. I got to fly the drone here just to get the establishing shot of the town and of the couple of churches that are here. By the way, I'm already at the 25% of the way for today. and it was only 7:30 in the morning. You enter the old city center right next to the Cruzeiro here by this archway, and you make your way past Iglesia de Santa Maria. You have the Albergue over here in this corner, and then by the time I made it to the main plaza, 7:35, I was looking for a bar to have breakfast. I did not see anything open, and I kept walking, looking, searching. By the time I made it to the bridge, I realized that nothing was open, and I was just starving. So I saw another pilgrim, and I asked him, and he told me that there was a bar at the entrance of town that I could go and get something to eat. So I headed back in that direction, and right here in front of the main plaza, La Casa de Mansilla, there's a bar there. This is where I have my breakfast, the all too familiar breakfast. You also have a couple of ATMs here in case you need to take out some cash. But 8 o'clock in the morning, I made my way over the Rio Esla and out into the countryside once again. We're following the main road for a little bit, not for a little bit, for a lot, pretty much all the way to León. But it's not too bad. I had a few pilgrims in front of me, and there was just nobody behind me. Not yet, at least. 8:37 in the morning, made my way past this gas station here. Remember a guy with a hose cleaning the pavement? And not far from there, I made it to Villamoros de Mancillas. Now, this town, for some reason, you don't get to go into it. The Camino just trails the main road and avoids the town altogether. But I guess you can always head in there and visit Iglesia de San Esteban. So 9 o'clock when I left the town, still trailing the road. And not far from there, I came across a vending machine and a rest area. You're going to start to see more vending machines along the way, and they're a godsend in case you need to get something to eat, a bite to eat, if you're desperate. But I prefer to get my orange juice, my freshly squeezed orange juice at the bars. And there was one right here, not far from it, Casablanca, by the way, where I have my orange juice. They have a rest area in front. And not far from there, you come across another Roman bridge. Now, this one is a massive bridge. I got to fly my drone here. In the 14th century, it was split in half by a major flood, and then it was rebuilt over the years and expanded. And that is the bridge of Villarente, which the town takes its name from. You got a few albergues here, ATMs, bars, everything that you may want or need. 9:42 in the morning when I left the town, and I passed by like a shoe cemetery. It was more like a dumping ground, but you could see a pile of shoes there on the side of the path. Now here you get away from the main road for a little bit, which is always welcome, and you get to walk behind like small factories and people's backyard. 10:10 in the morning when I went under this underpass with inspirational quotes or graffiti, depending on how you see it, on the walls. The next town is Harcahueja, and I got there at 10:23 in the morning. Now, this was supposed to be the end of the day for today. If I would have started my day in El Bulgo Ranero, I would have ended the stage here just before reaching León. But it was 10:30 in the morning, way too early for me to call it a day. Even though I went to the albergue and I hang around the Iglesia de Santa Maria, I knew I wasn't going to stay here. I was torn apart because if I would have stayed, maybe I would have regrouped with a few of the pilgrim friends that I have been walking in the past few days, but it was just too early. And in my case, when things are not working out, my instinct is to just keep going. On the Via Francigena, throughout France, if you saw that vlog series, I was doing that all the time. So I left the town at 10:30, and from here we start doing our small climb over the hill, 100 meters, not too bad. By the time we make it to the 75% of the way, there's Iglesia de San Juan Bautista, and here I got to see another stork with these two chicks atop the bell tower, and I got a shot of it with a drone. By the time you make it to the top of the hill, the map switches here in Google Maps from 2D flat to 3D. I love it when it is in 3D. It just gives you another perspective, and you can see this on your phone. This is not like the desktop version only. When you're walking, you get to see it the same way, and actually you can navigate even better since you can use your fingers to rotate it. It's even easier than doing it with a mouse on your computer. You walk by the cemetery, and then you enter a small industrial polígono industrial, industrial section. It was 11 in the morning. I was walking on and off with different pilgrims that were passing me by, and then you get to walk over another small hill. And here, 11:14, I got to stand on the side of the path where they had refreshments for donations, and you get to see on the fence full of like crosses, this brick depot on the other side of the roundabouts. You come down, go over this metal bridge, and now you're entering the city of León. You're not there yet, you still got a little bit to go, but you have left the countryside behind. And that was at 11:35 in the morning, super early, when I made it to the outskirts of the town. Got rid of my soda, threw it in the trash can here, and then just followed this main road all the way to the city center. I saw a sign to an albergue on this side over here, Albergue Santo Tomás. But no, I was going to the municipal one, so I continued following the yellow arrows. And then I refilled my water bottle when I got to this little square where it has a crucero and a fountain, before crossing over this small bridge right next to the Castro Bridge. This is the old bridge, and you have a new one on this side. And now you're inside the city. Not the historic city, but the actual metropolitan city of León. You can take a day off here. I highly recommend you do it. I should have done it, I know. But didn't I mention that the first stage of the Camino was the physical stage? And then you enter Burgos to León is like the mental one, where my mind was not in the right place, especially after walking 43 kilometers the day before. 23 degrees Celsius, the temperature was warming up. It was not as cold as days past. It was already May, so I was starting to enter the summer. Walked by this pharmacy, Parroquia de Santa Ana, where I saw another stork. And then finally, at 12:20, I made it to Albergue Municipal. When I got there, man, I was so glad that I didn't have to wait until like 2. I took a shower. I was talking to the hospitalero. I told him what happened, how much I had to walk in the previous stage. So the guy gave me a remedy, and it was warm water with vinegar and salt. And he told me just dip your feet in there for like an hour, and you're going to feel like new. And he did the trick. At 12:37, I had lunch here in the patio. They have a restaurant. It's not related to the albergue, and they do not give you a discount, but I just didn't want to head out into the city. It was a little bit expensive, but I treated myself after reaching León. I did laundry, and I hang it in the courtyard here. In the afternoon, I decided to head out and explore the town. I mean, this is a major city, and this is when it hit me in the face. Just so many people walking in the streets that I just felt completely out of place. Nothing too bad, but when I'm doing the Camino, I'd rather spend the time in the countryside than in major cities like this one. I headed straight to the cathedral because I wanted to get a stamp and visit the Cathedral of Lights. But unfortunately for me, it was closed. I did get to meet the Czech guy that I saw on day 1 on La Meseta. He was here with his dog, and this is where I found out that the guy is just wandering Europe. He's from the Czech Republic, and he had been walking for like 8 years, just wandering from place to place until he decided to do the Camino Frances, and he was on his way to the end of the world. So I spent the afternoon just strolling the street, going to Plaza de España, getting a snack at a bakery, visiting the various tourist attractions. And it's amazing that after 20 days on the Camino, your eyes just get trained to spot the yellow arrows, and I could see them a mile away. I did not get to meet any of the pilgrims that I was walking with at the albergue, so from now on is a new stage. I headed back to the albergue like at 9:50, almost at 10 o'clock when the albergue closes, and that was day 20 in a nutshell. Short day, but it was a good one. Tomorrow is another day, still in La Meseta for 2 more days, but the scenery is about to change. I'm gonna take a detour from the Camino just to avoid the main road, but we'll get to that one on tomorrow's video. See you then.